Good morning, everyone. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening, cooking, cleaning, canning, a little bit of everything. My goodness, the wind is atrocious. It is December the 8th. We are going to break a record today, close to 80 degrees. Can you believe that? And then a cold front comes through and we're going to have wind chills in the 20s. So we are on a weather roller coaster. But look at my cauliflower. It's doing quite well out here. When we get a strong south wind this time of year, it usually means that a big change is coming within the next 7 to 10 days. So it'll be interesting to see what the weather plays out the week of Christmas. And we have a tomato jungle in here, guys. So we don't look to get actually below freezing in the next week, but I bet, guys, that's going to change real soon, and I bet it's the week of Christmas. So I still feel pretty confident that everything in here, especially these tomatoes, are going to be just fine, at least for the next 10 days. And even if we do get below freezing or close to it, this high tunnel will keep them safe unless we get down to an extended freeze of like in the 20s for several days. Other than that, we should be fine. I could smell this basil. Woo, I can smell it. It's a big plant, guys. High tunnel cleanup has begun. Greg went ahead and pulled all the pepper plants yesterday, and he's in there processing them so that we can get ready for our spring garden and our seed starts. So we really hated to pull these peppers up, but we had to, because we've got to get in here and put some weed cloth down and get rid of some of this Bermuda grass that's trying to take over in here. So that's the bad thing about these high tunnels, and when you don't use weed cloth and when you're trying to build your soil with the cover crop, is you'll start to get grass and weeds in here. The wind is extremely high. I don't know if you can see the high tunnel rocking a little bit, but it's a very strong wind from the south, and I'm sure a lot of our community is experiencing this here in Texas as well. So our carrots in this big high tunnel are looking quite well. And looky there. Looks like some are about ready to be picked. No? Well, yep, one of those Cosmos, one of those purple ones, is looking quite well. Isn't that beautiful? So it's days like this, and also during thunderstorms, that we're glad that we went with the Gothic roof high tunnel, meaning it has a peak. It's not a hoop house, it has a peak. And then we have the inflatable roof that's in between two layers, which fends off a lot of the wind. So if you guys are looking at getting a high tunnel and you don't have any windbreak, like some trees or just a windbreak, then you want to make sure that you get a high tunnel that's going to withstand very high winds, because we get very high winds like today, and also during thunderstorms. These high tunnels have withstood over 80-mile-an-hour winds, and we suspect even higher. Now Greg did set the post down 3 feet in the ground, so all the posts are set 3 feet. They are anchored by I think it's 2 by 12 treated lumber, and then he has built I guess like a shoulder or something that's halfway up, and that's where we roll up the sides. And of course today we can't roll up the sides because of the high wind, and that's another thing. So if you have a high tunnel and the wind's very high, you have to close it up during thunderstorms. You have to close it up during high winds, because it will do some damage, just like a tornado would, coming on the inside of your house or blowing out your overhead door, your garage, taking off your roof. So be sure and take that into consideration. So high tunnel gardening was designed to extend your seasons. It lets us plant a little bit earlier, and it lets us keep things in the ground a little bit longer. For instance, had we not had those peppers and those tomatoes in that big high tunnel, we would have lost them several weeks back when we got our first freeze, because we did dip down to around 30, 31, but it wasn't extended. So it saved what we had in there. Now, What's different about the high tunnels for us here in Texas, I don't know about anywhere else, but for us here in Texas is we've tried to grow many winter crops in here like our brassicas. And because we get warm like today, seeing it says it's 85 degrees in this high tunnel, even though it's a little cool outside, it will cause your lettuces and your brassicas to bolt, even in the middle of winter. Now we may get really cold at night and this little high tunnel will go ambient very quickly. That bigger high tunnel does not. It takes a little while longer. But even though we get cold at night and more seasonable for those types of plants, during the day, it may get up to 80 or 90 degrees in here, even if it's freezing outside and we've got it closed up. So it causes things to bolt. That's why I've planted most of my brassicas and my greens outside in our raised beds, so that I can try to get some this year without bolting. And you can see they're doing quite well out here. I think this is my cauliflower. So we should get some cauliflower. I don't know, I'm not even seeing heads yet, so it'll probably be a little while longer. But we'll get some cauliflower and some broccoli unless we get just some weird freeze that takes us down below maybe 29 degrees for an extended amount of time. And we may get that, but we're not seeing it right now. Now these giant red mustard greens are doing fantastic out here. They survived that freeze. We had 2 nights in a row. Our kale is doing fantastic, and our Swiss chard is doing fantastic. So these are all pretty hardy in mild winter temps here in the south. They will withstand, you know, a couple of nights of a freeze, and then they'll rebound, and then if you get another one, you should be just fine. But these giant red mustard greens are just absolutely delicious. When you bite into them, you get the green flavor, and then you get kind of a bite of horseradish at the end, so it's got kind of an aftertaste that we just absolutely love. So you can see how the roof on this little high tunnel is bowed out there on top, and you can see it moving with the wind. But that's how we protect these high tunnels, guys, and Greg put them in very well, and so they're as sturdy as they can be, and they have withstood some very high winds. You can see that one over there, and you can see how the roof is inflated. So sometimes when we're telling people that we have the inflatable roof Gothic, they're not quite understanding, and you can see it rippling there on the side. And that's what we mean by the inflatable roof. It really gives it some added strength. So it's been a busy morning. Greg's in there processing the rest of our bell peppers. Had to go get chicken feed, had to get some more pine shavings for their coop because it is going to get quite chilly. By the time, I think tomorrow night it's supposed to roll in, and then Sunday morning is going to be quite cold, and Sunday day is going to be quite cold. So we had to go ahead and get some things taken care of today. And just wanted to give you guys a brief update and talk about why we chose the Gothic roof, inflatable roof high tunnel. I know a lot of you asked where we got them from. We got them from Rimmel. Greg did put these up himself. You can hire somebody to do it, but he did it along with our brother-in-law. It did take him a little bit of time, but understandably so. But we have them. I know he put them together, and I know they're as sturdy as they're ever going to be. So thank you for watching. If you decide to get one, let me know. I'm curious. I'm curious if you guys are looking at getting into some high tunnels with the way our seasons are changing. Now we are going to be planting on that back acre, so it'll be a little later before we can get things out there. But as far as inside these high tunnels, our seed starting is getting ready to gear up. And so we'll be getting our tomatoes and our peppers and maybe some other things started so that we'll be ready to go in the ground probably toward the end of March. Easter is early this year. I know a lot of you wait till after Easter to plant, and it is at the end of March. And so it's time to get ready, all ready for spring. But guys, I want to enjoy the next 3 months though before we go into the summer here in Texas. So take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.